Hello, friends. Welcome to episode 113 of the Nope Coach podcast, Destination Addiction. I'm your host, Suzanne Kohlberg, and funnily enough, starting to record this at exactly 1:11. So if you believe in angel numbers, there might be something magical about this episode. I always take note of the time when I hit record because I do try my best to keep these shows 15 minutes or less, so you have your bite-sized chunk. And it's funny, I've been chatting to two people in the last 24 hours who have listened to every single episode. And I'm totally amazed. That takes some level of dedication because there's like 112, well, this is 113. So hats off. You know who you are. Thank you so much. I appreciate the support. And for anyone listening, if you haven't yet left a review, I would really, really appreciate that. Reviews are how I help spread the word and get the message out. So I know for sure that you can leave them on Apple Podcasts. I'm not sure about Spotify. I don't listen through that platform. But if you're unable to leave a review through the platform that you listen through, you could also leave me a Google review. So if you just search up Suzanne Kohlberg and leave a Google review, I would really, really appreciate that. So today's topic, destination addiction. I wonder how many people are like, don't want to listen to that and turn it off offhand, because how often do we think when I get there, things will be different, or when I just get through this? So if you're having a tough time, if there's something going on, when I just get through this, then things will be better. And how many thises are available to you? So I know for me, it's kind of like when school goes back, things will be better. And then when school's back, it's like, when's the school holidays? Things will be better. Or after I've just paid off this expense, or after I've fixed this thing that needs repairing, or after any milestone with my children, like when they can just go to bed without me having to put them to bed, or shower, bathe themselves, or tie their own shoe, and so on and so forth. And I hesitate to use the word danger. I think that's not quite the term I'm after. But the issue with this level of thinking is we just insert something else in. Like when I get through this, there's always going to be another this. And then we are putting pause or hold on our joy, on our presence, on celebrating exactly where we are, because it's never enough. Have you seen The Greatest Showman? Never enough, never, never. And there just seems to be a whole pile of thises, or a whole, the picture we're painting when I get there, the there tends to be brighter and brighter and brighter and makes the here seem dimmer and dimmer and dimmer. It's a large reason about why I called my program Why Wait. So it's Y, W-H-Y, and then wait, a W, and it looks like an 8. It's actually an infinity, but on the keyboard there is an infinity. It's a sideways infinity, which is why I use an 8. But what are we waiting for? Eventually we're going to run out of time. And I don't want to be all dooms and gloom and depressing and that kind of thing, but none of us know when our ticket's going to be up. And when we are like, when I get there, or when I get through this, then I can, pursue my dream. We don't know how many thises that we're going to have to get through. And I just, what is your dream? What is something that's on your bucket list, something that you've always wanted to do? And when do you tell yourself that you can do it? So on my bucket list, the thing I've always wanted to do is a Canada-Alaska cruise. And it's always been on the one day. And I've decided 2025 is going to be my year. I'm going to make it happen. Because otherwise it will be, when the kids are older, when they've left school, when they've moved out of home, when I've retired, when. And eventually we run out of time. My husband in the last week sent me a meme, and it's a picture of an elderly couple in a gondola fallen asleep with their mouths open, and the person who's piloting, I don't know, steering the gondola laughing. And the caption says, "This is why you don't wait for retirement to go on your holidays." And I just like, this is so true. So often it's very rarely convenient to go after what we truly desire. There's always going to be a when I get through this, when things are settled down, when life is a bit easier. But things are so very rarely settled down. In my own household recently, my daughter sprained her ankle. So that put a spanner in the works of a number of things because, we're now calling her Hop Along. But, and if it's not that, it's a cold or, there's so many things that we think, I just need to get through this and things will be better. I just need to get through this and I'll have more time or more space or more wherewithal. And we so often don't. So I'd love for you to think about something that is, truly being on your bucket list. It could be like me, a big travel, a big holiday, a big trip. It could be, I know for the people I've been talking to recently, wanting to start their own business. I have a person I've been chatting to who wants to write and publish books, doesn't know where to start, so keeps putting it off. Oh, I'll do it when I get through this. After tax season, after my kid's birthday, after Christmas, after. It could be a wanting to learn an instrument or learn another language. A number of people have like, I've always wanted to learn another language. And, these things that we keep putting off, why do we do that? And part of it, I think, is the destination addiction. Like, when I get through this, I'll have more time, I'll have more space, I'll have more money, I'll have more energy. And part of it perhaps is some underhanded perfectionism. Like, you're not very good at things in the beginning. Like if you're starting to learn a second language or an instrument or write a book, it's not impossible, but it's unlikely that your first book will be the bestseller or be the thing that launches your career. Like, how often do we think, oh, I'm going to publish this thing and I'm going to take off and go viral and I've got to deal with all this? I very recently started posting YouTube shorts and I was like, oh, my YouTube channel is going to go gangbusters. If you're not yet subscribed, Suzanne Kohlberg YouTube, please do. I'd love you to subscribe to my channel. But most often these things are a slow burn. And when we do hear about overnight successes, often they're 5, 10, 15 years in the making. So all this to say, why wait? And if you want some support, I don't like the term accountability because to me, I have negative connotations to accountability. But there is something about having a group of people also going towards their own goals that, is very encouraging. So maybe I say encouragement rather than accountability. I really encourage you to check out my Why Wait program. The next round is starting in very early October. And you might think, oh, that's ages away. It's not really. It's just over 5 weeks, people. Well, depending on when you listen to this. If you're listening to this later, if you go to their website, suzannekohlberg.com, you'll be able to see the dates there. We talk a lot about what our goals are, breaking them down into the smallest actionable steps, which I call pennies. Also done a podcast episode on pennies, if you check it out. Off the top of my head, I think it's in the 30s, but I can't remember what the exact number is. We talk about the seasons of change because so often we wait because, when I get through this, then I'll feel better until we have, all our ducks in a row or we feel the motivation to make change. But that isn't always available to us. Sometimes we are required to make changes in seasons that aren't best aligned because change is very rarely convenient or easy. So we talk about the different seasons. And when I say that, I don't mean the weather outside, but our internal seasons, our spring, the initiation, our summer, the consistent and persistent action, the autumn or fall, depending on where you live in the world, which is the harvest, and the winter, which is the rest. And for many of us, I know for me with my past dieting history, I was really good at spring, initiating, jumping in. This is going to be the thing. As I've said before, I never met a shiny object I didn't like. But then the consistent and persistent follow through. The summer is where I struggled, and the harvest, I'd never harvest because I wasn't there yet, because I wasn't exactly where I needed to be. I hadn't ticked all the boxes and reached all my things. I discounted the progress I had made. So then I'd go from spring to winter, and end up in this, yo-yo, binge diet cycle that was unsustainable, unhealthy. And if you check out my book, The Beginning is Shit, I talk a lot about that. But we also talk about energy, capacity, spoons. I've also done an episode on that, one of my first episodes within the first 4, when you've got no spoons and you're measuring the capacity you have to 2 activities. So a lot of the concepts that I cover in this podcast are concepts that I talk about in Why Wait. So you might be thinking, well, why would I do the program when I can get it for free? 100%, it's a valid question. There's a difference between information. Information is free. You can Google all of this shit. What you pay for is the transformation. It is being in the space, the group, the ability to ask questions, to be held, as I said, accountable, although I don't like that word, to work through the ups and downs, to be reminded of why you started in a loving, caring way, not a shaming, blaming way, and to work through the obstacles and the barriers that come up. Because, as I always say, change is very rarely convenient. Unexpected things happen. Expected things happen that take more out of us than we anticipated. And working through that so that we can keep chipping away and working towards our goals. There's something so powerful about doing it in a group. And I am a shy introvert. I didn't think I would enjoy group programs, and I nominally don't enjoy group programs. But what I love about Why Wait is it's a group of people who, how do I describe it? Very recently, I saw a reel of this girl who nailed a backflip. Don't worry, we don't do backflips in Why Wait. But what I loved about it, they showed her, she did about 4 attempts and she nailed it on the 5th one, is the people around her, how much they cheered for her when she nailed it. And to be in a community of people who are just as excited, if not more excited, when you reach your goal than when they reach their own. There isn't that competition, because the thing is, we aren't competing for resources. There is plenty to go around. That saying, a rising tide lifts all ships. When we start working towards our goal and feel held and supported by others who are also working towards their goals, I believe that's some form of magic that happens. So if you head over to the website, suzannekohlberg.com, there is a big description about Why Wait. And also down the bottom, if you read through it and you're like, actually, I've got some questions, valid, could be a big investment, you can book in a one-on-one chat and we can talk through those. And I'm not salesy or pushy. Like, I want a program of people who are a fit. So if you get on the call and I honestly don't think it's a fit for you, I will say it in a loving, caring way, because sometimes it isn't. It isn't the right time. Even though the program's called Why Wait, it's not Why Wait as in do this now or forever in your doom. It's Why Wait as in we're not going to have this, when I get through this, things will be better. Let's get through these things together. And for some people, it's a really great fit and it's awesome. And for other people, it's not exactly what they're looking for. And if you want to talk about that with me, you're most welcome to. So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope to see you on the next one. Bye for now.